The other lesson I want you to attempt is the forms and features of quadratic functions, and hopefully you can have this done by Wednesday. But this one, you need to know the three types of equations that you can see quadratics written as, and we've graphed them, but I never really went over what the names of everything is or are. So these three forms each have their own name, so I would make a little chart somewhere. So the first form is vertex form, then you have standard form and factored form. Okay, so this is the general form of vertex form. This is what that equation could look like. Standard form, that's what we've used the most. Okay, so general is ax squared plus bx plus c, and example is x squared plus 3x plus 2. Factored form, and factored form would look something like this. So you have two parentheses, and then what's great about factored form is that you can tell from the equation what the roots are. So I can say this is the same as x equal to -2, and the root here would be x equal to +1. So that was the lesson that you should have done first. So once you have all of these, you need to go back and look at what the question is asking you. So for this one, it's saying identify the form of a quadratic function that immediately reveals a given feature of that function. So all this first sentence is saying is if I'm asking you for the roots, this equation is the best one to look at because I can tell what my roots are without having to do too much to the equation. If it's asking me which one is easier to see the vertex, you're going to use vertex form. So that's when you have the squared and then the number added or subtracted afterwards. If it asks for which one shows your y-intercept, that would be standard form because that last number is your y-intercept. So all of those things can help you with today's lesson. Okay, so this problem is telling us that the function f of x is shown below in three equivalent forms. Equivalent means the same thing as equal, which also means same. So all of these are the same graph, and this is saying which one of these forms reveals the vertex. So going back to that list of things, that probably means I need to use vertex form. So I'm looking for something like this. So from my answer choices, the only one that has the squared in parentheses is that first one, so I'm going to use vertex form here. Then the second part will ask you random questions. It can ask you for y-intercept. This time it's asking us for the vertex, so I do need to graph it. So we had 1/2, I'm going to leave that in parentheses, x minus, I believe, 5. And then squared minus 2. And again, make sure you're clicking this one, not that one, so minus 2. So my graph should look something like this. I'm glad I don't need to zoom or do anything like that. But we were asked to find the vertex, so looking at this, I can see that this is a minimum, so I need to use menu 6-2. Again, that's the green side of the poster in the front of the room. So lower bound, I go all the way to the left. Upper bound, I go all the way to the right. And I see that my vertex, is 5, -2. Okay, again, that's a minimum. And I don't think there are any more questions on this problem, so we should be good to go here. The only other one that you may have forgotten, and that was the y-intercept. So again, if you look at the front of the room, all the way to the right, the green poster, menu 510, that's how we'd find the y-intercept. I am going to show you with this problem, so I would do menu 510, and then you have to press enter. If you don't press enter, you're going to get this weird number over here. So you've got to hit enter, and I would see that my y-intercept is 0, -10. So you would just fill in whatever blank was missing. So that should be it. Let me know if you have any other questions, but you should be good to go.